Yo, thanks for tuning in. I will be showcasing to you the Pacific bank robberies I made. Um, we will be looking at how the bank robbery itself works, and then we're gonna go through the code. And I will just say that this Pacific bank robbery is a bit different because we are saving everything in the server side. That's why it's actually like something new and better than most things out there. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do here one thing, then one other thing. It's synced for everyone and optimized at the same time. So we're using polyzones, we're using MKA lasers. It's the same guy who made the polyzones, so thank you for that guy, credit to him. He's an amazing guy. And we were using interact sounds, so you have three dependencies that of course you probably already have them, I guess. If not, then you can download them. And all the code that is done is handled through the script itself. So door locks, everything is handled through our end, so you don't have to worry. You can just take it, and it's a plug and play, and just edit the config. So now we're gonna go through the resource, how it works, and yes. So we're gonna go through inside the polyzone now, it's in the bank, and we're gonna see that we have 8 pets. These pets only spawn where you're inside the polyzone, and when you're out, they do despawn. So if we go outside, they despawn. If we come inside, they spawn, as you can see. This is done for 1.6 servers because there are servers out there that might have 200, 300 players, and you don't want to have the amount of crashes because the pool size of pets is low, especially when we're having to spawn 8 pets. So these pets here are random. Every 30 minutes they change, and for example if we change and restart it, you can see that every time they're different. So we have different pets in different positions, they are synced for everyone, and they do random animations. Same goes with the security guards. They have a random weapon. This guy has a carbine rifle, as you can see, and the other one has, what does he have? What's that? SMG? MP5? Something like that. I don't know. And then we have also the reception pad. So to initiate the robbery, you have 2 options. Either you're going to start lockpicking a door, which automatically triggers a robbery. Let me just set myself as a normal civilian, because when you are a policeman, you're able to unlock and lock the doors without them starting a robbery. So let's say employed 0, and we should be good to go now. Let's check. So yeah, we can lockpick the door, as you can see, and the other door right here has the option to melt it. But we're gonna go start and do the robbery as your players are gonna be doing in their server, your server. So I'm gonna start aiming at them. So one pet is down, there we go. So when you kill both pets, she will react to it. So we're gonna tell her to disable the cameras for us, and then we're gonna tell her to come and lock this door and leave the bank itself. So we wait a little bit. There is a chance that it will not disable the cameras. You can change it through the config. So let's tell her to unlock the door. She's gonna start walking, coming here, open the door for us, and leave. There we go. So first thing I'm gonna do is actually disable the alarm. The alarm checks distance. So if you're now outside of the building, the alarm will be in lower volume, and it plays in a continuous loop. So you do understand that it's like a propeller alarm, and we're utilizing interact sound for it. So we can see upstairs we have still the option to lockpick doors. The reason why is because you're able to crack safes, one here and one here, with a padlock minigame. So 2 safes. You can set the amount of money it gives you through there, and remember also that safes, locker rooms, and cash, you can set it up. Anyone can rob them. The main thing about this bank robbery is that the doors are the main point, because you can rob the safes and all the stealables at any given time if you teleport to the courts. It's not like you have to start the robbery and etc. So we're gonna now and remove our weapon, we don't need anymore. We're gonna now add the thermite. There we go. It's gonna take 30 seconds for it to finish. And keep in mind that when you get close to it, it's gonna do this animation. And this is also again synced for everyone, the effect itself and the animation. So everyone in the server, if you have let's say 2 streamers, they're going to see the same things. That's the actual hard part of making everything look good in all screens at the same time. So let's wait a little bit for it to finish. It takes 30 seconds, I told you. And we're gonna head into and use the hacking method downstairs. So we have 2 options, as you can see. Please ignore the story, was from before actually. Let me just go away. If you go away, it's gonna reset if you restart the script. If not, then it's going to keep the door in the place. So you have 2 options. Either you're gonna hack the panel or bomb it. By bombing it, you start the lasers. So if we hack it, it's gonna think that we are actually employee, and it's not going to trigger as a robbery. So there we go. It's gonna take like a little bit of time for it to boot up. So let's wait. Okay, so now that it's going to finish, you can see that it's going to give us a mini game. We should now find these 2 letters. Let me find them. We have one here. They are pretty hard if you're slow. And you have unlimited attempts, so if you lose it, it's gonna be fine. So now the door is gonna start opening up like that, slowly. And we have to wait for it to open. And you cannot make it move faster because we are actually freezing it at the same time. So we're doing set entity rotation every 10 milliseconds. That's how we're actually opening the door itself. Then we have another thermite effect here. And here we have the locker rooms. So the locker rooms, you actually weld them by using the torch. And here we can steal cash. So let's steal cash. You can set the amount of money you get from every locker room different, for every cash different, so you can pretty much change it up in the way you want it. You can change the locations. Just make sure the animations are done intact, because this kind of animation you see now, it's a synchronized animation for the network, so you're gonna need to make sure that all coordinates are for the trolley itself, for the pet, are very accurately done. So now that we're gonna take the cash, you're gonna see that the prop is going to change. And that happens for everyone's server again. So you saw for a split second it was the other prop, and now we change it. So we're gonna weld one locker to give you an example how it works. It's pretty simple. So wait a bit, I will skip forward this because it takes like a few seconds, like 30-40 seconds to weld one locker, and we have 10 of them. So yes. So, as you have seen, this is how you pretty much open you weld lockers. People are not able to try and find a way through it to get double money, because we are checking at the same time if it's a busy one or not, and if they actually manage to get through that busy state, because I know that everyone has a different latency, and if you have one that has say 80 milliseconds and one that has 150, and they have that exact gap of 70, let's call it, then the server is going to check, and if they're actually trying to abuse it, they will get dropped. So you can actually set it as a ban feature also. So yeah, that's also a thing. So last thing we're gonna test now, I'm going to show you the bombing. So we're gonna restart the script one more time. We're gonna go pretty much a little bit away. We're gonna come back, and the door should be there. So we're gonna plan now the bomb, and the bomb is going to initialize the lasers. So there we go. We will have to wait 15 seconds for it to explode, and to make sure you don't die from it, because it's a big explosion, man. It's a big explosion, really. Give it 50 seconds. anytime. It's gonna do a nice effect. The door is going to teleport at the coords of 0, 0, 0. And when the fire goes away, you can see that the lasers have initialized. There we go. So these lasers, I will explain to you how they work. We have 4 different lasers. All of these lasers point to 9 locations. And they move randomly. And they take a random amount of time to go to one to the other. So you don't even know how they're going to move. There's no any pattern. It's just a pretty much randomizer. So your player will have to but actually find the gap. For example, here's a very good gap you can run. Maybe in the middle you will find one. And if you actually hit them, you will get fucked. So I'll go through it so to show you. You will get ragdolled and then you're gonna be set to fire. But we should be good because fuck. Actually we're not good. Make sure you guys have fucking fire extinguishers with them. That will save them. So that's how the lasers do work. Now we're gonna jump through the config, and before we do that I will show you one last thing, is that if we now set myself as a policeman, we are also able to reset the bank. And how this works is if we now come and reset the bank, let me show you. I needs to be robbed, I forgot. Yeah, let's actually rob the bank now. Wait. But let's make sure we don't die because these guys are very strong. And it's kinda hard when you have recoil, so make sure. So we're gonna move inside. We don't need the guy. Let's unlock the door. So as you can see, if we now reset the bank, it will teleport everyone outside and the bank will reset. So you have 2 options. Either you can wait the cooldown, because you can set a cooldown through the config, or you can just the policeman can just come inside, press the reset bank, and they can do it. So that's why I'm actually advising you to use items. So it's not very easy for them to just come and rob every day, any given time. If you don't have the items, you're not able to rob anytime. Personally, I would only have this kind of robbery once per week, the most frequent, because you need to give players some time so they like the robbery itself. So yeah, now we're gonna jump into the config and show you what you can change. Basically you can change anything, but I will show you the flexibility. So here's the config that you are going to probably change. Depending on your server, you have the option to change it to ESX or Cubase. That's the only 2 I am supporting by default. The code is pretty easy to understand though if you're using your own framework, so don't worry about it. Here we have the buttons. Pretty much I did for everyone, every single one, because I don't know what your server needs are, so I'm just giving you the option. From here you're able to send the name, the bleep, how many cops are needed, the coordinates for pretty much everything, and here you set the money, for example, for every single locker, safe and cash prop. Here are the doors. You can add more as well. You can add as many as you want if you want to use it also in your server, but yeah. And lastly we have here the reception pets. You can add more if you want. Here is a disabled camera chance, and we also have the security pets, which here we have what guns they can spawn with, randomized. So I think that's pretty much it. This is the config. I'm going to show you also a little bit of the code. Let's say we want to check the main loop. Actually not the main loop, we're gonna check the events. So you can see here we have the events. It's pretty easy to understand, pretty tidy up, nothing hard. It's just we're checking, for example, we're bringing values, and we're doing some code. So everything is tidy up, optimized, and you can use the code however you want. So yes, I think that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, type below, because I know that there's gonna be a million questions probably out there. We've been testing this resource for a lot of time on a proper server to make sure that it does work for everyone in one sync, not one sync. And yeah, if you want to test it out, we also have a test server as we're actually having all our resources, so feel free to check out. And yeah, see you later. I'm gonna be starting something very cool, maybe a casino, because I wanted to make one with many mini games. So we're gonna see, maybe I go through that, or maybe I'm gonna start a new garage system, but this garage system will be something super unique that you've never seen. So yeah, thank you for watching, adios and bye bye.